Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News. The news is live from our studios here at Kokomlemle. It's Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra. In Kumasi, we are live on Love 99.5 FM and over 34 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions, including Fafa Radio in Joje, ATL FM in Cape Coast, Radio Sungmale in Wa, Radio Max in Takrade. For our global audience, please download the My Joy Online app from Play Store and App Store to listen live around the world. In this edition, police in Ashanti regional capital Kumasi on manhunt for a man alleged to have murdered his pregnant wife at Nyantre Niase, close to Sofo Line in Kumasi.
What's here, Monse? Oh, come you, and I was say, it's solid. I'm sorry. No, what room? See you, Hannah Beman, appear free there, man, or buy Natchez and sending me a new demoja.
We're live on the ground, also in this edition.
Yeah, I mean, we shouldn't that chair where you bring Pombi Mammy Pie, if it's what Damakumaso.
Inside the car, and their mouth was with foam and mixed with blood. I didn't understand that issue.
Joy News secures exclusive details of how 2 children were found dead in a vehicle at a mechanic shop at Alajo here in Accra.
For me, I suspect that they are being poisoned because the way I saw them lying down, it's not something like the struggle or it's something that I don't know.
We have details as parents of the deceased who suspect murder demand speedy police investigations to uncover what led to their death. Also, minority in parliament begins what it describes as auditing of members denied visas to establish whether the denial was linked to their stance on the anti-LGBTQI+ bill.
Any business from those countries that are in this country that have to do with government, they can consider that we will not support each person, even if it is to build water. Even if it's to build hospital, if you don't believe in our value and you think that you have to impose yours on us, then you have no reason to do business in our country.
We'll also find out why only one NPP majority member has a signature on the bill. Plus, the NDC instructs a Progressive Alliance, a known promoter of LGBTQ rights, to delete the party's name from its list of members. Also in this package, when do you take the step to seek help, even if you think you do not have a mental health disorder?
It's difficult in sleeping, loss of appetite, loss of sexual desire, change in mood, then strange thought.
Plus, did you know that persons who claim to be transsexual are delusional?
All this trans thing about being in a woman's body instead of a man, I mean, it's just delusional stuff.
We'll hear from medical experts on this. I have sports.
Board member of House of Oak, Dr. Nyanyo Tamaklo, has noted poor referee as a major bane in the progress of African football. We have details in 20 minutes.
And later in showbiz, veteran gospel musician Cindy Thompson reveals the length she went to avoid being victimized politically after a popular hit, Erade Kasa, was used by the NPP for its 2000 electoral campaign.
Associative party, they can kill you, they can destroy you. When people see you, you resemble somebody I saw in it. No, it's not me. It's my sister. We are twins. In fact, I start lying.
I have that and more in this edition of the Midday News with me, Emefa Apau. Please stay for details. Many thanks for your company. This is your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. We begin from the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi, where police are on a manhunt for a man alleged to have murdered his pregnant wife at Nyantre Niase, close to Sofo Line. The suspect, only identified as Maxwell in his early 40s, stabbed his wife multiple times in front of their 6-year-old son and has since fled the community. Love FM's Erastus Asaridonko visited the couple's home. He joins us on the line with more on this. Erastus, give us all the gory details.
So this happened at dawn on Friday. The couple have been living in this rented apartment at Nyantre Niase for the past 1 year. And eyewitnesses say they do not have any problems until on Friday. Before Friday, they started quarreling about infidelity. The man accuses the wife of having an affair behind him. The wife denies that. And then when they had gone to sleep, this man decided to kill her. And so eyewitnesses and neighbors in the house heard the woman screaming for help. But when they got there, he had already been killed. We can hear from them.
About 12 o'clock, and I'm just about to a team. To a team, and say, oh, come you. And I was sorry, I'm sorry. No, what room lighting until why you soon Ti hɔ na bɛrima ne pie firi dɛm hɔ na ɔbae. Ɔbaa na kyɛ sɛ ne nsa ne mmienu di mogya. Ana am sɛ oh rama so na adai. Wa ankasa nti de mu ya so afa ɔbaa na taale na ɔde pepa mogya no. Na akora no pɛ sɛ opie ba abɔntene. Papa no sɛ so antena se a mekun. Nti wɔ sɛ asɛm a ɔmaame ɛka ne sɛ oh nti obi a magye me ne wo kumi na kyerɛ sɛ wohwɛ a wo mi amaame ne mene. Nti na ne no ma abɔntene. Na akora so ɔde ntoma akuru ne ti sɛ ɔpapa sɛ wɔna. Nti na ntoma ne kura akora nti de ɔte a ne sɛ oh nti obi a magye me ne wo kumi obi a magye me ne wo kumi. Wɔtwe akonwa no akyi sei ɛna n'ani ne gu so ɛna ne se no egu so.
So Erastus, that's the wife of the landlord where the couple lived, and all this happened in front of their 6-year-old son?
Yes, and the child has since been sent to a relative for upkeep. The man fled the scene, and police are combing the area for him. And they do understand that he's trying to cross the border to a neighboring country, and so they are still on a manhunt for him.
Well, but what have you gathered from the police in their investigations so far?
So the police are now in the community. They've been in the community since Friday, combing leads that will lead to his arrest. And they are telling me that they are preparing for others to be able to publish officially his picture. But we have the pictures and we'll be flying them across our networks. And they're asking the public to help them locate this man.
So that's my colleague, Erastus Donko, reporting from Yenche Niasi in the Ashanti region. Sorry for the gory images I'm imprinting in your minds this afternoon, but I have more bad news because this afternoon, Joy News has secured exclusive details of how 2 children were found dead in a vehicle at a mechanic workshop at Alajo here in Accra. The 2 children, Frank Dramado, 3 years, and Farida Ai, 4 years, were both found foaming at the mouths and blood oozing out of their nostrils on Friday. Police at Nima have already began investigations into the matter, but mother of one of the deceased, Edinam Ayivi, has been speaking to Manuel Kranting of our security desk.
Miami, we shall that where you bring Pombi Mammy Pa, if it's what Damakuma so. The Makuma so pa. It be an anchor where doctor, mammy. If it's a ocean of Kurana, or you need petit to be a wobber. It's a night dream with the hole. O sa, so in the yen as a penny bisa. Pacro, yes, and it dear. But dimmer one cassa.
So that's the mother of one of the deceased there interacting with Manuel Krante. He joins us on the line with more from what he found at Alajo. Manuel, you've been speaking to some eyewitnesses at the Alajo market also. What did they tell you?
So MFR, the eyewitnesses, mainly other mechanics, have been telling me about how a community-led search party was commissioned to look for these children on Friday evening. They say that the kids were out of their sight for just about 3 hours until they found out that they were locked up in this 2003 model Mercedes-Benz. Interestingly, they say that at the time that they found the kids, the glasses to the doors of the vehicle were not rolled up entirely, and so they say that with already suspicions that they might have suffocated in the vehicle, they say that could not be true.
Well, you've been speaking to father of Frank Dramado. What did he say?
Indeed, the father actually emphasizes on the accounts that the eyewitnesses give me. He said that with the blood oozing out of his son's nose and also he foaming on his mouth, he suspects foul play. He says that somebody indeed might be behind the death of the 2 children. Can listen to him.
Informing them of the demise of my son, but they are yet to respond.
The school authorities are yet to reach out to you.
Apologies for that wrong inset there. But Manuel, I can imagine this must have sent some shock waves in the area. What is the talk among residents there?
Indeed, there's this particular gentleman who I saw who clutching tightly onto his son. He says that the entire community has been thrown into a state of shock and then they are scared. So nobody is really allowing their children out of their sight. Everybody is moving together with their kids.
That's my colleague Mano Cranting there, reporting from Malajo here in Accra. Let me take you now to the central region, because it's been years of assurances, accusations and counter-accusations across the political divide over why the Commander Sugar Factory is yet to be fully operational 5 years after it was commissioned. Government earlier this year announced it was working at getting a strategic investor to take over the facility. President Akufo-Addo, who was touring the region in 2018, also raised issues about the work done by the NDC government on the factory. Listen to what he said.
The amount of land we need for the sugar, the type of sugar we can grow here, all those things were not properly organized. I think the our organization, our organization, and also the between strategic investor, and also it to be about Robert Bisomu, Nanche, Ubeti Papa Free Menum, and Chekra.
President Akufo-Addo back in 2018. Well, former President John Mahama, who was in the region last week, insists his government had an effective plan in place for sugar processing to take off.
In the factory now, my basic factory, I will make provision for raw material. I'm not that foolish. Me economics, I was from. What I say? 89 the Indian government, it was on our program, what they call 2016, Ghana, India. Priority projects are War Ministry of Finance. Now sugar loan for sugar production almost $24 million. There's about 3,000 acres there. And near a nucleus farm I buy factory nankasa ne farm. Na sikana akano yenya outgrowers all over sa area home.
Well, former board secretary of the Commander Sugar Factory, Ransford Amwa, says it is politicization of the project that has resulted in its current state. He spoke on the AM show on the Joy News channel.
The politics is too much on this factory. What I believe is that if the government is really determined to let this factory run, they would have done that long ago. And that alone, Commander KE district, they have Commander Sugar Factory and Elmina Fish Processing Factory. So we thought that at least for this particular municipality, they have 2 factories. So this one, the one, if we can have it. But they rather abandoned these 2 projects and went to Sachet Water Processing Factory, Petersfield and Ray. And they termed that factory, which had less than 100 workers, as the district factory for Commander Edna Egua Fabre municipality. Right. So what makes this government interested in the Commander Sugar Factory?
Well, that's the former board secretary of the Commander Sugar Factory, Ransford Amwa. Well, some residents have threatened to stage a protest that they threatened last month to demand immediate operationalization of the factory. They are also asking government to address their concerns immediately. Samuel Awuja is convener of Concerned Citizens of Commander.
All that we are interested in is for the factory to work. You know, the youth need jobs. And even as part of the negotiations that we had with the government, we indicated that the local content should also be taken care of. In fact, that the youth here will be given some quota to work in the factory. So we are still looking forward and then hoping that the factory will be operationalized for the youth, especially to get jobs. So nothing else, nothing more. All that we need is for the factory to work.
Samuel Awuja, convener of Concerned Citizens of Commander. Let me take you live there as the president begins a tour of the region. Richard Kojonyako is our correspondent. Richard, so the president is back in the area. We've been hearing from him in 2018 what he said. It appears the state of the factory remains of concern to the residents as they await his arrival.
Yeah, so the residents say that they are tired of waiting because they were looking forward to the operationalization of the Commander Sugar Factory so they could secure jobs. But today, the president, in an interview on Eagle FM, indicated that he is promising them by the first quarter of 2020, the factory would be operationalized. He said that there were initial hiccups. The strategic partner that they got engaged with, he couldn't meet the conditions precedent, and so they have worked everything around everything, and so they are sure that by 2020, the first quarter, they would operationalize.
The way forward is what is these that Chematain, the very, very dynamic, energetic Minister for Trade and Industry, has been trying to do. First of all, our inheritance. A lot of money has gone into the Commander initiative. It was important for us, and yet nothing had happened. It was at a standstill when we came into it. The project was heavily overvalued. They then went forward to say that in the light of the overvaluation, they are going to look for interested investors to come, and bids were brought in. An investor was chosen. All the various demands that he was making, the investor was making, at the end, he wasn't able to meet the conditions precedent. So, contract and right now, the ministry is working in such a way that would be a technical partner, at least to run the factory. Now, according to Chairman and the people in the Ministry of Trade, arrangements are one year, by the first quarter of 2022, now factory is going to start running again. It's a big albatross around the neck of the government, Commenda Sugar Factory.
Well, Richard, quickly run us through the president's itinerary as he begins the tour of the region.
Also, he is currently inspecting project at the Cape Coast Technical University. That was the same venue he had an interview. From there, he will go to the Ascent North, Ascent South, and the Ascent Central area to also inspect some projects. As part of the tour, he will also be commissioning some 1D, 1F projects in the Central region.
So my colleague Richard Kojonyaku there, off to the Volta region now, where former President John Mahama has taken his thank you tour after completing a tour of the Central region recently. The former president is currently at Asogli, where the chiefs and people have held a durbar to welcome him. Ivy Setoji is traveling with the former president. He joins us on the line. Ivy, bring us up to speed on this durbar and what else the former president has been saying.
Okay, so the former president is here currently. He's talking speaking to the people of Asogli. He is thanking them for all the effort they have done, especially giving them a massive vote during the 2020 election. He is promising them that when they are able to vote for him again in 2024, he's able to fulfill all the promises made to them. This time around, they have learned from their mistakes from the past, and they are working on it. So they are improving on other things so that they come as a better and a bigger party. The general secretary for the party also said that previously what the Agogomasia advised them, he advised them on certain issues that the NDC did not take kindly. But today, they have regretted their action and which they have listened to him. So right now, they are ready to listen to everything he has said.
We heard about Tobe was when the elections for the National House of Chiefs were about to be conducted. Tobe delivered a very profound statement and cautioned that the chieftaincy institution represented the last hope of Ghanaians. And though, if we are not careful, and we sacrifice the dignity of that institution on the
That's the NDC General Secretary Johnson Asiedu Nketia earlier. You heard our correspondent Ivy Setoji. Now, the minority leadership in Parliament is today auditing its members who have been denied visas by some countries and further establish whether the denial is linked to their stance on the proposed promotion of proper human sexual rights and Ghanaian family values 2021 bill. Member of Parliament for Tamale North Al-Hassan Essuhini is one of signatories to a private member's motion seeking to criminalize activities of LGBTQI and has confirmed the Netherlands embassy denied him visa with the explanation that he would not return to Ghana, although he submitted all relevant documents. Minority Chief Whip Mohammed Mutaka Mubarak tells my colleague Elton Brobe his side will organize crusades against interests of such countries if it turns out the denial was linked to the bill.
We've started taking audit of our members who, whether privately or business or parliament, have made efforts to travel and for one reason or the other have been denied visa or otherwise. We are trying to take stock and be able to identify those instances. If we find resemblance of that, I can bet you we will resist it and fight it with all the energy in us. I mean, I can bet you one of the starting points will be any business from those countries that are in this country that have to do with government. They can consider that we will not support its passage.
Well, the private members bill has 8 members sponsoring it, and out of the number, only one is an MPP MP. That's Reverend John in Team Fojo of Ascent South in the Central Region. Minority Chief Whip Mohammed Muntaka Mubarak says the NPP MPs were warned not to co-sponsor during the presentation stage.
Until the majority leader made his press conference, I had always had at the back of my mind that we are together in this. I mean, we've been discussing this together. I had KTM on. So I knew all along that we've been together. It was when he finished his press conference that I started asking, well, is there any doubt? Is there some worry that we didn't know? Then I got to know that the members who were to sign, and I think they were, about 7 or so from both sides. Then when it came to the signing, only one person from the other side showed up to sign the memoranda. Then only Reverend Fojo signed. So it was after the signing that I got to know that what happened. Then I tried to find out from the members, so what happened? Then they said that, some of them were warned by their leaders. And I said, how? Because that never came to our attention. Because all along we've been working together. It is my prayer.
You want not to sign?
Yes. Because they didn't show up to sign for the memo that was going to speaker. So I want to plead with our colleagues opposite. If there were any other challenges that they couldn't air them, we can continue the talking. Because I believe this is in our collective interest. And this is not the time for us to be showing our differences.
That's the Minority Chief Whip. But we know that the National Democratic Congress has come under criticism for its association with the Progressive Alliance, a known promoter of LGBTQI rights. Former director of the Institute of African Studies, Legon, Professor Techua Menu, challenged the party to be upfront with Ghanaians on its position. But communications officer with the party, Sami Jemfi, says the party is not a member of the Progressive Alliance and has instructed the alliance to delete the NDC from its list of associates.
The NDC is not a member of the Progressive Alliance. Neither are we affiliated to the Progressive Alliance. We are a member of Socialist International. As a matter of fact, we hold the vice president position in Socialist International. So it is not even possible for us to be a member of the Progressive Alliance, which is a breakaway group from the Socialist International. It's a rival group. We have nothing whatsoever to do with the group. And if you care to know, we started protesting against the listing of our party as one of the members of the Progressive Alliance
because it's
3 years ago.
Yes. Okay.
We've asked them to take that off, but to no avail. But this is just to set the record straight that
That's the communications officer of the NDC, Sami Jemfi. But why is the NDC focusing on the anti-LGBTQI bill when there are other issues confronting the nation? Member of Parliament for South Dai, Roxanne Nelson Dapalmakbo, has answers.
It cannot be the only important thing. We focus on all that. But in addition to all this, is the canker, is the threat of the spread of this canker amongst our people. Nobody can stop overspeeding. People will always overspeed. But there's a need to check overspeeding. So this bill is our speed ramp to overspeeding. This bill is our vaccine and our face masks to the spread of gayism in this country.
Really?
Yes.
So that's the South Dai MP, Roxanne Nelson Dapalmakbo. This is the Midday News. We're on Joy 99.7 FM in over 34 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions. Our top stories in this edition: police in the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi, on a hunt for a man alleged to have murdered his pregnant wife of Nyanchirase, close to Sofo Line. We brought you details of that as well as exclusive details of how 2 children were found dead in a vehicle at a mechanic shop at Alajo here in Accra. And still to come after sports, when do you take the step to seek help even if you think you do not have a mental health disorder?
It's difficult in sleeping, loss of appetite, loss of sexual desire, change in mood, then strange thought.
Plus, persons who claim to be transsexual are delusional. We'll hear from medical experts. And then also in showbiz, we'll hear from veteran gospel musician Cindy Thompson reviews the length she went to avoid being victimized politically after her hit song, Iradikasa, was used by the NPP for its 2000 electoral campaign.
Associative fighter, they can kill you, they can destroy you. When people see you, you resemble somebody I saw in it. No, it's not me. It's my sister. We are twins. In fact, I start lying.
Thanks for choosing us. Let's do sports. Muftau.
Board member of House of Oak, Dr. Nyawonyo Tamaklo, has described the performance of the Phobians CAF Champions League match day referee Rodriguez de Cavalho as a disgrace to African football. Speaking to Joy Sports after House's 1-0 win over WAC of Morocco, Nyaho said the GFA should consider filing a protest on behalf of the club over the output of the referee.
Initially, we were expecting the WAC boys to play a match we have never seen before. But I think our boys were able to study them carefully. But my worry is the refereeing. I think we have to do something about this refereeing because there are rules and regulations in refereeing. But this particular referee, I think either CAF or FIFA. In fact, I would even suggest that Ghana Football Association writes a letter of protest about his performance. It was so awful, so obvious. I mean, and I think this is a disgrace to African football.
That is Dr. Nyawonyo Tamaklo.
Thank you very much, Muftau. Now, some parents at Brema Jamra in the central region say they are living in fear of another disaster which could claim the lives of their children learning in very weak school buildings. Several cracks have developed in the walls and foundations are eroded. You recall some 4 years ago, 6 pupils were killed when their school building collapsed on them. The parents say they want to avert a similar incident and have intensified the appeal for support to reconstruct their school block under the Joy Classroom project. Some of them have been speaking with us.
I have been to the school and it is still in a bad state. So we are appealing to everyone to come to our aid. Our school building is dilapidated. So we are appealing for a new school block so we can concentrate on our learning. When it rains, we can't even learn.
You should support this worthy cause in cash or in kind by donating cement bags, iron rods, chippings. You can send your donations via Momo to 059-303-8832, or better still, call the front desk of Joy FM for more. The Classroom Project, promoting social justice through philanthropy. Now, you may not be physically exhibiting a mental disorder, but the World Health Organization makes us understand that 1 in 4 persons in the world will be affected by mental or neurological diseases or disorders at some point in their lives, with mental disorders also identified as the leading causes of ill health and disability worldwide. Health experts are urging everyone to check their mental health. But at what point do you take this major step? Listen to CEO of Brain and Mind Hospital, Dr. Yao Infojo, on some checklists you should be watching out for.
We as human beings have certain basic things: ability to eat, ability to drink water, our sex life, our sleep, our ability to function at work. And I think I want to focus on that a bit. You know, if there's a dysfunction in work output, whether it is as a result that you had an accident and fractured your leg, or you went to the office and you couldn't write or take notes of the report, etc., there is a dysfunction.
Well, he also mentions that persons who define themselves as transsexual are delusional and may need help.
From research and whatever, being gay, being lesbian, being bisexual is not a mental illness, it's not a mental disorder. However, all this trans stuff, simple definition, a delusion is a fixed false belief that is not amenable to reason.
That's Dr. Yao Infojo, CEO of Brain and Mind Hospital. You need to check your mental health status today. Now, do you remember this popular gospel song? That was a hit song, Eradicasa, by Cindy Thompson, released in early 2000s. So the NPP adopted the song for its electoral campaign, and the song became even more popular. But Cindy says she was afraid. She's been explaining to Fifi Folsing on Up Close on The Reason Is Jesus.
All of a sudden, I was there. My manager called me. Council TV, I was so worried. I said, what is going on? Then when I put on my TV and I saw at my Chagbona, the MPP, then I quickly put off the TV and said, what is this? My song, in fact, when you think humanly, when I was thinking about, I got afraid. Hey, these party people, I said, what do we call associated party, and they can kill you, they can destroy you. So now if I'm everywhere I am, I don't want to show my, when people see you, you resemble somebody I saw in the, no, it's not me. It's my sister. We are twins. In fact, I started lying. God forgive me. We are twins. Can't you see she's taller than me? I started because I was afraid.
Eradicasa note, we end this afternoon's edition of the Midday News with me, Emefa Apau. And just before we go, some news coming in on the BBC's website. Colin Powell dies of COVID-19 complications. Also on myjoyonline.com, visa refusal for MPs supporting anti-LGBTQI plus bill should prompt them to develop the country. That's according to Eduse Poku. NDC must pass vote of no confidence on Mahama Atachia on 1 million secret ballots claim, amongst others, on myjoyonline.com. I am Emefa Apau. Living Word with Pastor Menso to Bill is up next. Many thanks for your company. Have a good afternoon.